Hi, I'm Sibabatso and I'm from the Morebo team. I will be interviewing Maditshaba Mafora, who's an executive financial advisor. Madi, just tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm a financial planner in an executive role. I'm also a unit manager at Morebo.
What would your advice be to your younger self?
I would say prioritize your self development, take care of your health, and understand who you are, and be very kind to yourself.
Okay. What inspired you to become a financial advisor?
As a young child, at the age of 7, I lost my mom. She had a financial advisor. Unfortunately, the person didn't do a proper planning for my mom. So when she passed, we were left with a father who was confused and a stepmother 6 months into our lives. So as a result, I was raised by a teenage sister who started working at the age of 19, and I decided I'm going to make sure that other people don't go through what I went through. So the journey for me was a personal journey in trying to right the wrongs of how I grew up. I feel somebody could have done a better job, and that inspired me to become a financial advisor.
Sure, that's interesting. Both sad and interesting. Sure. How can young women take control of their finances early in their careers?
You know, as women, there's quite a lot of things that get thrown at us. So I think it's important when you're planning your life, you also plan your financial life. In order to have a financial future, you should have a plan. And if you are planning to succeed, as the saying goes, then you should have a plan instilled in your life plan that speaks to your finances. And the earlier you start, the better.
What's your advice for women who want to build wealth but feel overwhelmed by financial planning?
Financial planning is like consulting a doctor. You go and see a professional, somebody who has the skill and the knowledge of the things that you don't know. Similar with a financial planner, you go for a consultation, there's an assessment of sorts and a diagnosis, if you may, and a prescription. So I look at it as a chronic condition. We always need a financial planner as we go through the different stages in our lives.
How can women balance saving, investing, and planning for major life events like buying a home or starting a family?
This is an interesting one, right? I don't personally believe there's such a thing as balance. I believe as women we go through different life stages, and in certain stages you have to prioritize one thing or another. There's always going to be sacrifice. So I think balance in this case is a myth. If you have a plan and you know when you want to do things, it's easier to then balance your finances, balance your savings. You have a season for saving, you have a season for investments. And then when you do decide you want to start a family, you are in a better position because you've planned for it. But balance for women, I don't know, especially if you're a mother or you're planning to be, that's a myth.
Okay. So how can young women ensure they are negotiating fair salaries and planning for financial growth?
This is something that I'm very passionate about. I believe the biggest hurdle for women to negotiate fair compensation is because they do not invest in understanding themselves. And if you don't know your value as a woman before you hit the negotiating table, it is very easy to accept anything that doesn't speak to your passions or does not validate who you want to be. So I believe that starting with yourself and understanding your own value, that will really go a long way.
Okay. Madi, so being in the financial advice space, what have you instilled in your family concerning finances?
I think I've instilled that finances don't have to be a stumbling block. We were raised to think that you need money to do certain things, and I believe the myth has also been that you need to work a 9 to 5, and the 9 to 5 then limits the things that you can do. So it was important for me as a mother as well, but also obviously as a sister and a wife to help my family understand that you can do a lot of different things, and money does not need to be a stumbling block, in the sense that there's lots of ways to make money. I mean, people think saving and investing are the same thing, whereas it's different. And if you do not understand the difference, you are stuck in, I'm saving for education. Are you saving or are you investing? It's important to understand those things. And if you understand the differences, it's easier then to maneuver between certain concepts of finances, and therefore become an entrepreneur or believe that you can literally do anything. You're not stuck to the 9-to-5 model.
What has your journey been like as a woman in the industry?
The industry, like any, is challenging. However, the industry that we're in, it's a constant learning curve. As legislation changes, you have to keep up. So it is an uphill battle, if I can say that, in terms of the knowledge. However, you get used to the flexibility, which is something that I love as a mother of 2 girls. And the other challenging part of the industry would also be that some things happen at the times that if you have a family or you're raising young children, it's inconvenient. So it's fun. I love it. I'm very passionate about the work that I do. However, the time and the balance that I said was a myth. It is a myth.
Okay. Why is financial independence important for young women, and where should they start?
I think the earlier you start, the better. If you start in your earlier years before you have responsibilities such as raising a family or post your studies, then independence is easier to reach. And you want to be financially independent before you are raising other people, because ultimately we need to instill financial dependence into our children. And I believe that most people struggle because they want to start the family and start saving at the same time, which doesn't always happen, as you pay school fees and you're also saving for retirement. Those two things don't go together. So I think it's easier if you reach independence at a younger age, and then life becomes easier. You've got savings, you've got investments that are growing while you're raising your children. So they're growing with your children, and that makes it easier financially to navigate financial independence.
All right, thank you so much for your time and advice, Maditshaba. It's been lovely chatting to you.
It's been a pleasure, Swabatso.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to being with you guys in the next one.